Ram Krishna here basically are discussing on the topic that is city creation basically are discussing on the topic that is India. India one basically we are discussing SB account, Amazon account and after 2 days basically the world is going sorry India is going to get big earthquake. So that topic is actually on. So another person told that what is actually lava basically. So we discussed that basically 100 crore child is going to happen. In that basically Sunil or Nair generation basically somebody has ended. In that basically so nobody is supposed to track that basically somebody has entered Sunil or Nair basically generation. So they basically charge some murder case, this case, that case, so that basically Sunil or Nair basically is not supposed to get job basically. If Sunil or Nair basically going to get job, then only basically is going to get marriage. And if he will do the marriage, then only basically is going to have try for the child basically. But Sunil R Nair basic generation is ended by some group basically. That is the Nasbandi somebody has done. So this type of idea basically who basically gets this type of idea? This type of idea lots of people says that software company basically gets this type of idea. So one person told that who might be given this idea. This is not my basically idea and this is not my story basically. I'm just telling basically whenever basically the 100 crore child is going to get birth. That time basically not my story basically. Lots of story might be there basically inside that are going to activate. And currently also basically that is happening same way only. Basically. So one of the person told that from where basically the power companies are taking the data. They are taking the data. The birth is happening. The birth basically are taking ideas from where? That are from the planets basically from where they have already dumped long before basically. Because to do the process basically in Earth planet it takes time. So they basically do advanced planning basically. So they do advanced planning. After that, basically, the ideas are going to connect to the childs, and child are going to generate ideas, which are the innovation or basically invention. Basically, you can say Sanshodhan. Basically, you can say Sanshodhan. Basically, that's not a word. Basically, because that is fixed. Basically, that child is going to generate this idea only. Why? Because when lava process was started, that time only basically his data was fixed, and the rehearsal basically was done in that planet basically. So that somebody is trying to change basically, and that basically is very dangerous basically. For example, I am not getting job basically, so somebody is basically trying to give me job, but in that basically he is getting some problem basically. Why? Because somebody has planned basically that Sunil Nair basically is not supposed to get job in Mumbai, is not supposed to get in job in Vadodara city, is not supposed to get job in Bangalore, is not supposed to get job in India. So he's basically planned that basically he's not supposed to get job in India basically. So for that basically he has done some advanced level planning basically. So this everything is done basically. That is the main thing basically. Entire energy is generated, everything is done, all conditions are going to satisfy because everything is done. So one of the person told that ideas are already came to earth planet, child are going to birth, they have done the birth also, and they have basically matched the condition also. Why? Because that idea basically was already created for this particular child, and they had done the rehearsal also basically. So you can just imagine basically the earth planet is playing the very dangerous role basically. It's very dangerous role basically they are playing. Earth planet people basically are doing very dangerous role, and in this basically somebody has ended Sunila Nair generation, that are the software industry basically. That are TCS, Infosys, Accenture, Capgemini. This whole group basically have become one and ended Sunil Nair generation. Just taking as an example, basically, in really, basically, this group has not entered my generation. Sab is there. Sab basically is one of the Marathi person basically, but in front of the world, basically, see who is. So like this, basically, many things are basically there, which is going to come into picture basically, because each conditions are going to match basically. That's why each conditions are going to match basically. So one of the person told that each conditions are going to match. The child basically has already generated, and his idea basically has already created long before basically from the universe basically. So one of the person told, yeah, basically Sunil, basically you have that planet name basically. Then Sunil Arnay told that basically I don't have basically planet name basically, because there basically my death also basically has planned basically. So I am going to die on what date basically, na? That is also basically done the rehearsal basically in that planet basically. You will not able to believe it basically. You will not able to believe it basically, and you are going to change that basically. One of the cheap software company person basically told that basically I will change everything basically. So he basically is very dangerous person basically, and he basically might be dangerous person also, because if he has done this type of idea basically, then basically you can just imagine how dangerous that person is basically. How dangerous that basically comes to Sikandar Poras basically. He was the dangerous person basically. Sikandar Poras basically. He was the king basically of, I don't know where, which country basically, but he was, lots of people says that he basically was Poras, this that basically, but really basically nobody knows basically who was the, he was the king of which country basically. Basically, then basically he also can rule the world basically. But that is very dangerous, na basically. If you are ruling the world, so one of the person told that the people basically are supposed to listen them basically. So nowadays public basically don't listen anyone basically. So what is the idea basically? That is this chip basically. In with the help of the chip basically, he is going to do exactly same thing basically which that planet has done basically. They have done the rehearsal of this 100 crore child. They child also basically generated. Then basically the child basically become young. Then old age. Then basically he died also basically. That exact energy basically he has dumped into Earth planet. And when basically that child is going to come basically into the Earth planet according to the activation basically, that everybody knows what is the condition. That 1 lakh condition basically I had taken. In that basically Sunilar Nair basically does not exist. That also basically we have solved. In really basically it's not like that. I'm just taking as an example basically. So one of the person told that, yeah, so like this the condition is going to satisfy, child is going to birth, and he is going to connect to these all ideas. Lava is generated, lava basically created the child, and he has dumped all ideas also basically inside his body basically. That this whole idea basically you are going to connect. And he basically started connecting to that idea basically, which is already predefined basically by that planet basically. That basically somebody is trying to change. And that is basically good task basically. But you have to take the permission of universe basically. But universe say that basically we are basically doing first our task basically. Then basically we hand over our task to you basically. So that also basically might be possible. Somebody might be doing, because each and every task basically the Earth planet is doing basically. That is done long before in the universe basically. In any of the planet basically. Or basically in the galaxy or satellite somewhere basically. So that is also possible. Basically, he might be connected with the satellite groups. Suddenly, basically, one of the satellite person basically passed, and he started telling basically this question. Sunil, basically, you got the job. Basically, you started the your next generation. You basically got the marriage before starting that generation. Basically, you should get the marriage, and then basically you started your income. This that each and every basically started, and then basically you got the child. Basically, like this basically told, and then basically immediately basically he left. So again, back to our topic, that is that chip which somebody is trying to create basically, and mostly basically he might have created also. So here basically we are not discussing basically he has created how, but he has created, that means he might have created 100%. He might have created 100% because that rehearsal. So he's creating the rehearsal basically. Sorry, not rehearsal basically. You can say uh, that rehearsal basically which has already done basically. That rehearsal basically is dumping into his body basically. But what should be the name basically, that I am not getting it. I will take this example basically. You can basically add whatever word basically you want to add. 100 crore child basically is going to come. They are basically inside the lava. That is created by Mumbai city. That is the 10 crore software projects. The creation of this 10 crore project basically. So you can just imagine basically the software company basically has not started the project also. But there basically the 100 crore child process was also basically they have started. Child also become young also basically then. So one of the person told that the ideas basically which the earth planet gets na basically, that is this idea, that is basically this 100 crore child basically happened basically in that planet. They basically become young also basically, then basically they become child, then basically they become young, and then basically they become older age, then basically they died. After that basically entire energy basically which has get processed basically, that idea basically is coming to earth planet basically, and according to that basically the 10 crore projects has created, and according to 10 crore projects by the 100 crore child is going to come. 100 crore child is going to come. Their brain data basically is already created in that planets basically, which is going to come to our planet, which has already might have come basically, because it's very long lengthy process and very dangerous process. So when basically the project basically might be creating basically, that time basically the ideas they might be getting basically, it might possible that also basically might be one of the data, that also basically might be one of the data, that is also possible. So any possibilities basically we can't ignore the any of the single possibilities. We can't ignore the single possibilities. So he basically dumped all the ideas, and child basically started taking that ideas basically, and he basically taken the ideas, and he basically taken the ideas basically, and ideas are already done, and child started the processing also. Exactly same thing basically what he has done rehearsal basically in that planet, same thing basically is going to do here basically. So one of the person told that basically why the creation is like that basically. There basically the idea was not basically getting generated, but there the error was also basically connecting. After filtering the error basically, here the process has basically started of the perfect idea basically. And the perfect idea basically gets generates with few error basically. Because nobody is perfect basically in this world. Nobody is basically perfect in this world. Many less people basically takes 100 out of 100 basically in mathematics, in statistic basically. But that are very rare people basically. That are extraordinary people basically. That are basically the extraordinary people basically, who basically gets the data basically. So here topic is what basically. Here the topic is somebody has trying to somebody he's basically you can say trying to change this concept, and he basically have to do that basically, because it might possible that basically because satellite group basically will not come to earth planet and basically they will hand over the thing basically that take this idea take this handover basically, they are not going to like do like that basically. So he has started the implementation of the chip now basically. That means satellite group is trying to hand over the process basically which they have done long before. So mostly basically possibilities is this, that is the handover process basically which is ongoing of planet basically to earth planet, and that basically somebody is doing it basically. So that basically is not a, but it's a new task basically, so it's a risky basically. One of the person told that one person basically started doing basically job of CEO and vice president basically, or basically the senior manager or the delivery head. He basically has never done that task basically. So at first time basically he's going to face the problem only basically. First time basically he's going to face the problem basically. He is going to face the problem basically first time. But later on, basically, slowly, basically, he's going to connect with the CEO ideas, vice president's idea, deliveries idea. Then basically, he will connect to the each and every ideas, and then basically, he will start his process very smoothly. Basically. So in next video, basically, we are going to see a little bit more about this topic, basically, which we have discussed just now.